Hey guys, this is Shane here from Echo Soundworks. In this video, I'm going to show you a really cool technique that I use all the time to help fill out a verse section or a breakdown section in a track, but do it in a way that still leaves room for your track to grow and get bigger come the chorus or the drop. So this technique's really easy. It's really simple. Basically, we're going to be creating kind of like an atmospheric style pad using a melody that's already there in the song. Now you can use really any sound source to do this. Be a synth preset, a sample, doesn't matter. All you need basically is a reverb plugin. So let's dive into Logic and see how it works. All right, so that is the final version. Now I'm going to remake that from scratch. So this purple track right here, this is the atmospheric pad sound. Now you might be thinking that MIDI doesn't look like a typical pad, right? It's not a chord stack. That's kind of the cool thing about this technique is that it's not as static. It's not as, I don't use the word boring, but it's not as, I guess, basic as if I just followed my chord progression and played some chords. There's some nice movement with the sound, the atmospheric sound. So to do this, you can literally use the melody that's currently in your track or song, whether it's in the verse or breakdown, right? So most tracks are going to have some type of instrumental melody going on. Now, if you don't have an instrumental melody occurring in that part of your track, simply make a basic sounding kind of arpeggio over your chord progression. So I'm just going to take the melody from our guitars here, and we're going to drag this down and copy and paste it to this patch. Now, you can use any type of patch you want to do this. You can use a pluck, a key sound, vocals, whatever it might be. You'll obviously get different results depending on your starting source material, but they will all work. So we're going to start off with this patch. This is from our pack, the X keys. It's in the hybrid section. It's called Hybrid Juiced. It was meant for kind of a Juice WRLD vibe, and it sounds like this. So what I did was I turned the attack up to get a little bit of that kind of sharp tick out of it. Right, now that's all you need to do, so it will sound like this right now. Right, so what you're going to do next is you're going to load up an equalizer, an EQ, and you're going to take out the lows and take out the highs if that fits the context of your mix. So right now in this section of this track, the breakdown, we have just kind of a respace going on, which is going to occupy the lows, and the guitars are going to be up there, a little bit higher up. So if we go to the guitar track here and we look at, I'll pull in another EQ and we look at the frequency spectrum, it's from about 200 to 2K, right? So what I want to do with this sound is I want to not have that clash with the guitar. So we're obviously going to take out everything from 200 down, and that will kind of make it sit with the respace a little bit better. We're going to take out a little bit of the highs, and then let's load up another band here and take out some between about 1K to 2.5 to 5K, somewhere in there. So that should do. Now the next thing you're going to do is load up a reverb plugin, but try to load up a convolution reverb. So not an algorithmic reverb, so not like a Valhalla reverb. Try to load up something that you can load in impulse responses with. So in Logic X, that's Space Designer. If you're FL Studio, you got Convolver. Most DAWs come with some type of stock convolution reverb. Now, an impulse response is basically a capture of a source. The source usually is like a room or a hall or a cathedral, whatever it might be. But what we want to do is we want to load up a more unique, more interesting impulse response, maybe something like pink noise, white noise, some type of ambient sound. All right, so I'm going to go to the warped effects, and we have these different categories in the Space Designer plugin. We have drone, tones, moving spaces, and textures, all these other stuff. So let's look at textures and see if we can find one that's going to work nicely. So let's try Celestial Accessory. And to audition this, I'm going to turn my dry down, my wet up. All right, so I like this one called Excessive Ramp. That sounds pretty nice. So after you get the impulse response loaded up in your convolution reverb plugin, it might be helpful, depending on the response that you get in the sound that you're working with, to load up a second reverb plugin to kind of further smear that sound. like so. So now we can't really hear the individual notes of the melody, and that's kind of the goal. The goal is to kind of, get these obviously all going to be in key with the track, and there's kind of almost like a lag now with when these notes happen, so it doesn't sound like it's a duplicate of the melody that we already had in the track, right? In this instance, it's our guitar. Right? You really can't tell that that was a direct, duplicated instance of that MIDI because of the two instances of the reverb smearing the sound, and we turn the attack up. So a little bit of a delay with the sound, but that's okay. It's all going to be in key. It's all going to match your tracks. You can take this a step further, and you can duplicate that track, and you're going to pan one left and one right. Now on one of them, go and change the source sound, but you can keep the reverb the same, right? And that will be enough to kind of add that nice stereo width, differentiate it on the left and right channels. So we're just going to go and load up another preset here. Right, so now these will sound different. All right, like I said, pretty easy to do. So it's going to sum up the video. If you guys have any questions or comments, post those below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. The support really does mean a lot to us. And if you do subscribe, click that notification bell so you get an update when we release a new tutorial. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.